highest honor of the evening, Matt Mulcahy.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you. That, I've been waiting for somebody to do this all night. I don't have anything prepared at all. And I hope you don't mind if I don't read it off my phone. One of the advantages to having been on television for as long as I have, that I often meet really nice people in strange places, quite honestly. Like there's a burn dinner in East Syracuse that pretty much every night between like 12 and 12:30 in the morning, I'm pulling in there and seeing if Patty will give me and Jamie a slice of pizza to bring home, or get Jamie a hot chocolate. And they have a fairly new guy working there, really good worker. And he's like, "Hey, it's Matt Mulcahy." I said, "Yeah, how you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a big fan of you on TV. And my mother, oh my God, my mother has loved you forever. She has a crush on you." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that is so nice to hear. Make sure you tell your mom I send my best. I'm so glad she's watching." He's like, "Well, I can't do it. She's dead." And believe it or not, it's the second time I've heard that in like a month. The moms who loved me are dead. Ugh. And now they're giving me a plaque. I don't know what that means. At least it doesn't say posthumously, we're honoring Matt Mulcahy. I do want to congratulate the other honorees, Patrick, Marnie, David, and Ryan. And I give credit to the student who wins the scholarship, but he's just not ready, but he still kills it when he gives his acceptance speech. So congratulations on that. The other ones are all fantastic. I want to thank my wife, Jamie, who's endured a life of very strange, long hours while being a great listener, a confidant, and really a perpetual source of love and support. And she picks out great ties. So thank you, honey, for being here tonight. Thank you. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were taking a walk at Lake Delta. We got to the end of a path right on the edge of the lake, and we noticed there was a tree there. And it's kind of barren. The leaves weren't really out yet, but there was a V. And I noticed in the tree, and Jamie noticed the same thing, that people had put some rocks in that V, like one at a time, building on each other. They were all shaped differently. Some were round, some were square, some jagged, some flat. But one by one, they were building something. And it struck us that we should contribute to that we should add to those stones in the V of that tree in the way that they have, but also not being afraid to do it in our own way in that barren tree. What we do here in journalism is really more important than ever. Next year actually marks 40 years of my reporting the news. None of it would have gotten done without hundreds of coworkers, managers, owners in this highly stressful but wonderfully rewarding business. And so many are great friends that I still have to this day. My thanks to all of you at both of our tables and others in the room who I've worked with and known for a long time too. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the Press Club for this inclusion on the Wall of Distinction. It truly is a humbling honor. I was there 25 years ago in the Civic Center when this group would have been small enough to fit there for this annual Wall of Distinction dinner. And among the first class that was inducted were Ron Curtis, the legendary broadcaster, Nancy Duffy of Channel 5 and Channel 9 and the paper and City Hall, Fred Hilligus, who was the original Channel 3 anchor. In fact, his career goes back to radio on WSYR to 1946. So here we are tonight. Fred Hilligus' career starts in 1946. He's inducted to the Wall of Fame 25 years ago almost. And here we are for this event tonight. And that's what truly defines humbling, this arc. I really enjoy a rather unique space in this career, especially in this market, but also in this time. I feel like I've been a bit of a bridge from that broadcast to cable, to broadcast cable and something called a website, to digital, where we are now, where everything seems to be digital, and even the awards, they're struggling with what do you title something that we only listen to? Is it a podcast? Do we hear it on our phone? What do we do? 14 years ago, was anybody in this room 14 years ago? Well, different room, but you get the point. I won a Career Achievement Award. They don't give that out anymore. I'm not sure what happened, but I appreciate winning it. And I recently went back to what I said that night, and I promise I'm not repeating it. But I did focus on some of the key elements then of what I thought my career should be. And what really struck me was I wanted to lead. I wanted to lead as an anchor, a producer, a reporter in our business. And then I listed the parts of the job that I really enjoyed the most. The journalism, number one. The journalism where you have a piece of information that nobody else has yet, and you're going to report on it. Live television, when they take away the teleprompter or the script, the red light's on and you have to go. There's nothing more exciting than that. And then, of course, the writing. I saw my good friend Sean Kirst here tonight, who's one of the greats ever to write in this industry, let alone in our market. But when you breathe life into words to reach minds, touch hearts of viewers, listeners, and readers, it really is so meaningful to see that. On that night, 14 years ago, I shared highlights of reporting from war-torn Bosnia, going to the Netherlands for the Panama 103 Lockerbie trial, seeing John Glenn return to space in a shuttle. The list went on and on, including 9/11, the TWA 800 crash off Long Island, the blizzard of '93, which is what those mothers who have died still remember me for. Wait, that doesn't quite make sense, does it? You know what I mean, though. The people who, anyway. That night, 14 years ago, it sounded like that was a career worthy of numerous Press Club awards, some Emmy awards, some Murrows, but thank goodness it didn't end there. Because the last 14 years, I think the work has been even better. It's been higher quality. We've done more. And that includes many more cases of original reporting. A week at the Vatican covering the canonization of Mother Mary Ann Cope. Digging through the investigative files that the police were using for the Heidi Allen case, where I uncovered a document that wasn't turned over to the defense. And Gary Thibodeau then told me in prison, to the day he died, he didn't do it. He told me that just about 3 weeks before he passed away. Didn't change the course of the case, unfortunately. That's just one example, though. The map of Syracuse, which I found in the National Archives from 1919 with explicit ethnic labels, Ken Jackson would have loved this, of not only, I'll use the words here once, Negro, Jew, Italian, Irish, Polish, German, labeling people where they must live in the city of Syracuse, a problem that we're still living with in our city today as a problem that really hasn't been shaken. But then there's also the community events that we've shared as a region, the pandemic, which is either ancient history or it seems like it was just yesterday. But it was the time when we really realized that we needed anchors and reporters to hold the hand of a community, that local reporting was excruciatingly important, and news organizations really were at their best. The tornado struck Rome, so many awards given out tonight for that coverage, bearing witness to a storm coming through that knocked down church steeples that had stood weather for more than a century. And perhaps most profoundly and sadly, I covered the funerals of Deputy Michael Husak and Deputy Michael Jensen of the Syracuse Police, 34 years after covering the funeral of Officer Wally Howard. All those stories, all those years, I've discovered a lot about how news works. And let me leave you with this tonight. What sets apart those who succeed in our business from those who don't? Yes, you need to quickly inhale large amounts of information and transpose it into a brief, efficient report, sometimes in an hour, 10 minutes, right away. You need to welcome the pressure of a relentlessly ticking clock, and you need to wake up each morning anxiously anticipating the unknown that will come your way. But that's not it. The answer to what really sets apart one journalist from the next is curiosity. There is never a shortage of stories to tell, never. There is an endless supply of issues worthy of further exploration, but one must be curious to see them, curious to be driven to seek answers, curious to look around one more corner to reach that truth. That's what really matters. Our stories do have impact. They bring change. They hold leaders accountable, give agency to the underrepresented, and they shine light on those who prefer to operate in the dark. It matters not whether it's seen on TV, heard on the radio, on YouTube, read on your iPhone. or shared on TikTok, pushed out on technology that somebody's yet to invent. Our journalism must continue. There is room for it to flourish. This story is not yet finished. And just like the stones that we put in the V of that tree, one after another, creatively stacked, but leaving room for somebody else to put on the next one, how will you contribute? How will you build on what came before you? How will you find a path we cannot yet imagine? What we do now is more important than ever. Thank you.